Hello everyone, it's DiegoDoom here, and today I'm bringing you another review. Today I'll be reviewing Act Gridman. Gridman comes from the 1993 show Lightning Superman Gridman. When three computer-savvy children create their own video game superhero, they soon learn it is possessed by an interdimensional police officer known as Gridman. Gridman is actively pursuing a program called Digifier who seeks to wreak havoc on the human world. So, if you all have not done so already, definitely check out the show Lightning Superman Gridman. It is definitely very cool, but also, this show was Americanized and is known as Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad. Both shows are definitely very nice, very neat, and very cool, so if you get a chance, check them both out. But, nonetheless, Act Gridman is another fantastic release in the Act line. Gridman has a fantastic sculpt, fantastic paint applications, fantastic accessories, and a fantastic range of articulation. This figure is absolutely fantastic and definitely very nice, very neat, and very cool. So first, let's take a look at Gridman's accessories. Now let's take a look at Gridman's accessories. Gridman comes with two pairs of holding hands, a pair of open hands, one plasma blade, one barrier shield, one lightning thunderbolt sword, and one grid beam effect. So first, let's take a look at Gridman's hands, and we'll begin with the open hands here. So the open hands are very nicely done here. Now there's not much in terms of detail, it's pretty much one smooth piece of plastic here, but still it's molded in a very nice vibrant red, so it's definitely very cool here. On camera it seems a little bit dull, but in person it's definitely very vibrant, but still, this hand is crafted very well here, so definitely cool. Very nicely done. So, the next two pairs of hands that Gridman comes with are his holding hands. One pair of hands are meant to hold the plasma blade, and the other pair of hands are meant to hold the barrier shield as well as the lightning thunderbolt sword here. So, we'll grab these hands here. And as you can see, the hand on the left has a wider grip than the hand on the right, and that's how you know the difference between the two hands. So, this hand is meant for the plasma blade, this hand is meant for the barrier shield. So, pretty much the same sculpt, just one has a wider grip. So, it's definitely very well done and, still a very vibrant red. So, definitely cool. So, these hands equip via our ball joint peg system, as always with all of our Act figures here. So, we'll grab Gridman over here, and we're going to just equip these hands. Now, one thing to note, I noticed with the Gridman figure, it's kind of hard equipping these hands, and it takes a lot of force and effort, so do be careful when swapping these hands. I noticed this peg is seems to be a little bit smaller than normal, so do not exert too much force. You don't want to snap this peg off, so just swap them with care, and you should be okay. So we'll push that in, and just try to do it as firmly but as softly as possible. And that's going to go in pretty flush, as you can see, so it's definitely very seamless. That's definitely very cool there. We'll grab the other hand, put that on, and see if we can get that on just as smoothly. So when I first got this figure out the packet, it was really tough swapping these hands out. So push them in to the point where they're actually flush. I don't think that hand's in there all the way, but it'll be okay for now. So definitely very cool there. So the next accessory that Gridman comes with is his plasma blade. So the plasma blade is definitely very well done and absolutely fantastic here. There's a very great sculpt going on for the handle of the sword, so definitely very cool here. But what I really like about this accessory is the chrome finish. This is absolutely fantastic here. Now please excuse the smudges here from my fingers. Try not to touch this sword too much so that way it can stay clean and clear, but this is very nicely done at the end of the day. This is very nice shiny chrome going on, so definitely very cool here. Now, we have a hand specifically for the sword, so let's go ahead and pop that in there. So this is the plasma blade sword, so we're going to pretty much slide that in there. And do handles with care, you don't want to break the tip of your sword, so kind of do it at the base or something like that, or as best you can. Or probably be better to equip the sword before you attach the hand maybe, but slides into place pretty well, very firm and snug there, so definitely cool. So the next accessory that Gridman comes with is his barrier shield. The barrier shield is very well done and definitely show accurate here. The silver in the shield is pretty vibrant as well as the red, so this is definitely very cool. Very nice sculpt going on, definitely show accurate. And then it's also articulated, so you can have Gridman kneeling and tilt the shield up to simulate, a blocking pose or so on and so forth. So definitely very cool here. Very nicely done. Now, how this equips into Gridman's barrier shield hand is pretty different. Now, I think you can just go ahead and force this down to the hand, but I don't like to do that because something about it feels unsafe. So what I like to do is I'll take the shield and just kind of put that in horizontally, and we'll just see if we can slide that into the hand as best we can. And this does take a little bit more effort than it probably should, but I just feel safer doing this. See if we can move that thumb out the way. There we go. I like to slide in the hand, and then I'll just kind of rotate it around, and I'm pretty sure that's probably the best way to actually do it versus kind of forcing it down in the hand. But now we have Gridman with his barrier shield as well as his plasma blade. So it's definitely very cool there. Very nice done, some great accessories. So the next accessory that Gridman comes with is his Lightning Thunderbolt sword. Now this sword is when Gridman combines his plasma blade as well as the barrier shield together to form one large sword. So this is definitely very cool. Now I do wish they would have added the accessory with Gridman's axe also, because I think the sword and shield turn into an axe before they turn to actually this state, but still, this is just as very well done. You can see elements of the shield here, as well as the nice sculpted hilt here. Definitely very cool. Then the blade here is also chrome, so very nicely done. Absolutely fantastic here. So, the final accessory that Gridman comes with is his grid beam effect. So, let's see if we can get Gridman disassembled over here for 1 second. So, just give me one moment and we'll pop that hand off here. So, the grid beam effect is very nicely done here. It's definitely very cool. So, it has an absolutely great sculpt going on here. Now, this is pretty much a thick piece of hard plastic here, so it's definitely very sturdy and very nicely done. A nice orange gradient, very beam-like, and a lot of energy surging, so definitely cool and translucent at the tip. Now, towards the bottom, these are very thin, sharp pieces of plastic, so do handle this with care. You don't want to drop this and break any of these tips off, so just kind of be careful with that. But to equip this, we're going to grab Gridman over here. I just kind of removed his hand, so don't worry about that. And on his, I think this is called the apexer, we're going to go ahead and remove this yellow piece here from the center. So all we got to do is just kind of find the best spot to kind of pull it off. See if we can get that out as best we can. This can be a little bit tough because it's in there pretty well. And it's a very tiny piece, so we're just going to remove this yellow tip. See if I can get that all. There we go. So we pull this piece out. Now, remember, this piece is tiny and is dying to be lost, so do try to keep up with this or put this somewhere you can always find it when you're swapping these pieces out. So put that down. Then we'll grab the beam effect here. I'm just going to slide that right in place. See if we can get that in there. First try. There we go. And that's it. And as you can see, it's very sturdy and very firm, and it does not weigh the arm down in any way. So definitely very cool. So this is absolutely fantastic. So, now we have Gridman's accessories out of the way, let's go ahead and take a look at the Gridman figure itself. So now let's take a look at the Gridman figure itself. Gridman has a fantastic sculpt, fantastic paint applications, and a fantastic range of articulation. So first, let's start with the head here. So Gridman's head is on a ball joint here, so Gridman can look left and he can look right, but as you can see, the head is kind of hindered by the collar here on his chest. So it's a little bit limited, but still very cool. Gridman can look very far up and very far down. Very nicely done too. Also, Gridman's neck is articulated to the point where he can look left or lean left and right. So pretty cool there. So a nice range of motion going on. Absolutely fantastic there. Gridman's shoulders are on a type of ball joint here, so you can move these forward and back ever so slightly. Then the shoulders actually rotate to a full 360. Very nicely done there. The arms come out a full 90 degrees. One thing that's also neat are the shoulder pads here do not hinder any range of articulation in the arm. So it's definitely very cool. Also, the tips here are actually articulated too. So very nicely done. So in the bicep here, you can actually spin that around. Pretty cool there. Double jointed elbows. Very cool. Then the gauntlet, or we're going to call this the apexer, I think. This actually rotates around too. So that's very nicely done there. Then the hands are on our ball joint pegs as always, so they have a very nice range of movement there. They can rotate and tilt in just a little bit. So very cool there. So in Gridman's upper chest here, he has a very nice ab crunch motion going on here, so he can scrunch in pretty well and then extend out pretty good. So definitely very cool there. So he can look extremely far down or extremely high up. So it's absolutely fantastic there. Now in the waist here, it doesn't seem like Gridman's waist actually turns at all, but it's still very cool. If you all have this figure in the comments below, let us know if the waist can actually rotate around or not, because I've tried it, but it just doesn't seem like it's trying to go anywhere, but still very cool. Then in the hips here, Gridman's legs are very nicely done. So you can kick out about this far, and then kick back about that far, and then come out about this far. But you can actually pull the hip joint down to give an even better range of motion. So that's absolutely fantastic. Definitely very cool here. Also, the legs can actually rotate too. So very nicely done there. So in the knees here, Gridman has double jointed knees here, so they bend at 2 different places. Very nice bend going on. Definitely very cool there. Then the feet here, they actually rotate ever so slightly. Definitely very cool. Then the toes are articulated ever so slightly. You have to add some forces, I guess, as well as the feet. So this is absolutely fantastic. This figure has a fantastic range of articulation. So now, as far as paint applications and sculpt, this figure is absolutely dead on. This is completely show accurate and is very nicely done here. Now, the red and silver are very vibrant and definitely very cool. As always, on camera, it seems a little bit dull, but in person, this is a very vibrant figure, and it's absolutely fantastic. Now, the silver in the chest and the different metallic pieces, this seems to be that same great silver metallic, but almost not quite that I mentioned with the Ultra Act Ultraman figure, so it's very vibrant and very nicely done. I can't emphasize that enough. It's very cool here. Then also in the eyes here, these are very nicely done. I'm not sure if you would consider these compound eyes or not, but they do have some translucent material in them, so under the right light these eyes tend to glow just a little bit, so pretty cool there. Also in his warning timer in his head, that's very nicely done too, same translucent material. In the chest here, more translucent material in blue, so this is very nicely done here all around. A great figure, very nice. Let's see if we can ease that light source back a little bit. This sculpt is absolutely spot on and definitely fantastic here. Truly a great representation of Gridman. And you know, with this figure, it just brings back a lot of childhood memories from the Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad that I saw first, and then we got to see Lightning Superman Gridman later. So this is absolutely fantastic here. And, you know, pretty much a thought-provoking piece. Definitely very cool. Also to mention too, there's an open hole in the back, and this is meant for your Tamashii Nation's stage 4, I believe, for your humanoid character. So pretty cool there. It's not a big deal. It's an open hole in the back. It's, you know, not an eyesore or anything like that. So pretty cool there. Now also one thing to note, a couple of these pieces can be removed on, I think it's the back of these legs here and this back piece. And this is meant for the upcoming release of the armor set that Gridman equips. And I forgot what the name of the armor set / character is called, but do be aware these pieces do remove, but not until we get our armor upgrade. So at the end of the day, this figure is absolutely fantastic and definitely very nice, very neat, and very cool. So now that we have the Gridman figure out of the way, let's go ahead and conclude this review. To conclude the review, Ultra Act Gridman is another fantastic release in the Ultra Act line. Gridman has a fantastic sculpt, fantastic paint applications, fantastic accessories, and a fantastic range of articulation. This figure is absolutely fantastic and definitely very nice, very neat, and very cool. I highly recommend this figure to absolutely everyone. Also, if you have not done so already, definitely check out the original show, Lightning Superman Gridman, as well as the Americanization of the show, Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad. Both shows are very cool and definitely action-packed. This has been another review by DiegoDoom. Thank you very much for watching, and please stay tuned for more figure reviews. Like, comment, and subscribe.